Okay, first on the agenda is an application for Jason P. Dahl, DBA The Fork and Bib, for a mobile food truck license to be utilized at 33 West Main Street, Norton, Mass. Jason, you here? Mr. Dahl, want to come up? Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Not as good as speaking in public as you guys, so bear with
No,
me.
that's okay. We're not good at it either. You'll find out soon. So tell us what your plan is, Mr. Dahl.
So I just want to cook, pretty much. Currently, I already work at Sturdy Hospital. I'm the food service manager there. I've been there for about 3.5 years. I do not plan on leaving my day job. So the whole idea behind this was to, I've always wanted to open my own business, so what better than a food truck? It's, low cost to get into. You can kind of be as creative as you want with the menu. The big thing about food trucks is like you connect with the people like face to face. Like in today's world, people just don't want to eat. They want to know who's cooking the food, where it comes from. They want to take pictures and post it on social media. So, all these things encompass exactly what a food truck is. So I live in Norton, and currently I already work about 60 hours a week at Sturdy. And like I said, I don't plan on leaving. So the idea behind it was to open a food truck here in town. For convenience, also because, I've lived in town for almost 6 years now. So I am vested in the town. I do not plan on leaving. I hope to buy a house someday. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
Okay, tell us about, is it a truck or is it a trailer? Do you know yet?
I haven't exactly decided whether I'm going to use a truck or a trailer. Obviously, with the truck, it's about 3 times the price. There's positive and negatives both ways. It's probably going to be a trailer because I'm trying not to borrow money on it. I want to fund it myself. So to do it that way and not have any silent partners, it's probably the best route to have a trailer.
So you're going to locate this at 33 near the Bog Iron, right? Bog Iron Beer.
Yep.
So 33 West Main Street. So, we've had a couple of different carts there in the past. This is not something new. I think you got like 3 different options that they're giving you on that.
I do.
Up at the street, somewhere in the middle, and then toward the back, right?
Yeah, and I chose 3 locations just to be as flexible as possible, and all 3 have positives and negatives to it. I did pick the first spot right in the front, just because that was where the one was parked before, and I didn't want to start anything new if that's not something that was available.
I think the electrical is still there. Isn't all the electrical still there?
Well, the pole is still there to tie into it, but the meter box was taken out when the hot dog truck moved. So the second location would have been in the back on a strip of grass off of the lot to kind of utilize as many parking spaces as possible and not take up from the current parking spaces there and, to infringe on Bog or the bank or anybody. So then the third spot would be all the way in the back, and you guys are probably familiar with when you pull around back, there's a little strip of grass, and then there's kind of like some, I call it real estate, but it's like weeds and stuff like that. So the plan was to park right on the grass with the service window facing the pavement. Now, I would be taking up a couple spots parking, but at least I wouldn't be parking in a spot and then taking up, 2 more.
Yeah, the last person who was there had a problem with the ADA compliance, handicap accessibility.
Oh, yeah.
You want to have it designed so someone can come to a window in a wheelchair.
Absolutely.
Make it
I've done all my research. I just want to run a business. That's pretty much
Any
it.
questions? Anyone?
No, just a comment that if I was in his situation, I'd rather be out closest to the street as people could see you, know that you're there, than being out back behind the vehicle, behind the building. So whatever works could work for you the best, and I think it'll suit me fine.
I was just trying to be respectful, sorry, to, the traffic on the main road and Wendell's across the street, which I do have a letter of approval from them. Not really, I know it sounds bad. I'm going to open a business and, not really rely on foot traffic, like outside people pulling up. I'm not naive. I know that is going to happen. But part of the whole business plan was to capture the foot traffic for Bog already. Okay. So kind of, I'm not saying work with them, but in conjunction to benefit one another.
Mr. Barty?
What type of menu are you planning on?
So, I mean, I want to have a menu that I'm known for, but I want to be able to walk in and just blow the menu up and say, you know what, I want to do something different this week. I want to do something fun. You know, I want to. So the menu is going to be not 100%, but tailored towards using like local craft brews. So, you know, on Friday nights I want to do fish and chips, hand cut French fries. You know, I just want to do good food and do it right and not take any shortcuts. That's kind of what I've known for pretty much my whole career. And with Sturdy, I do get a lot of freedom to do special events, and, you know, at least a dozen times a year we're doing plated dinners for, you know, local town people and Board of Selectmen. And but I do want to just cook pretty much. Like my menu is going to be all over the place. Burgers, sandwiches. I did promise I would not serve a single chicken wing off the truck, with respect to Wendell's, and I will stand by that if I have to put it in writing. I do have a set menu. I don't have it currently with me, but it's about maybe 5 to 7 items, and I kind of want to work with the seasons, and you know, nothing too crazy, but pretty much short order cooking, but doing it right.
Great.
Mr. Bramwell?
With your other job and the number of hours you put in, do you have any idea on what kind of a schedule you're going to have here?
Yeah, I'm not going to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't sleep as it is. I'm kind of hyper, and, you know, I don't really sleep great at night because I'm always going through prep lists and stuff like that. But I did have to sign a letter from Sturdy, a non-competing agreement, and I had to pretty much give them my business plan and to keep both businesses separate. So I'm not allowed to purchase any equipment, any food, anything from Sturdy. I've even agreed that anybody that works for Sturdy, I will not cater for if that was an option. Somebody already approached me that I currently do a catering for. They do like a pig roast pork fest, and they've been coming to me for, this is 3 years now. So they had mentioned, well, maybe we'll go to you next time. And I said, you know, with due respect, I want to keep both businesses separate. I'm not trying to use Sturdy as the jumpstart to promote this business, or vice versa. So, I mean, I'm only looking at about 20, 24 hours a week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 hours at night, and then do Saturday for 6, 7 hours.
Okay.
So my wife is on board.
Well, I mean, I don't want to tell you how to run your business, but I agree with Mr. Salvo. You want to be up front. You want to get that extra traffic. If you're going to be there, you might as well get everything you can, and being toward the back is not going to work for you.
Brian didn't say that was, he did say that he didn't think that was a good idea.
Yeah, you're going to have some other issues too. With, you know, you still have to go, once you get your whatever vehicle you decide on, you have to work with the town departments to make sure that, you know, the Board of Health's on board, and the building inspector and all that, you know, and you're ready to go. So, anyone have any other questions? We do have letters from Diplomat Realty Trust, who's the landlord, asking for our consideration. We do have a letter from Wendell's Pub saying they don't have an issue with that. As you recall, a year or two ago, we created a bylaw where a service like this can't go within a certain amount of footage from a pre-existing building unless they agree to allow that to happen. So everything is signed off so far. The only thing we don't really have at this point is the final inspection. It would be an inspection for the building inspector, the Board of Health, Fire Department. I'm not sure if they have anything to do with it, but
So the reason why I have not purchased the truck yet, for the simple fact that if I was denied the permit, and I sunk all my money into a truck, now it changes my whole business model. It cuts into my other job. So I know I'm kind of doing it backwards, but this seemed like the best option for me to not jump into the water.
Agreed.
I mean, we can draft this so you can still get your permits and get everything moving in the right direction. That's not a problem, so. Any other questions? Nothing?
I just, you know, again, not trying to tell you how to run your business, but whatever you decide to purchase, you should check with your local fire department, because they're probably gonna make you put an answer system in there, like they did the last gentleman that had one, just because of the, you know, the fire alarms and everything. So just don't purchase something till you know exactly what you need, that's all.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it brand new. I kind of have a couple lined up, and it does have a fire suppression system, security. It's got spotlights on the outside.
But again, make sure you check with the departments before you make your purchase.
Absolutely.
Make sure you get the right stuff. Okay, Chair, entertain a motion to approve the application of Jason P. Dahl for DBA The Fork and Bib for a mobile food truck license to be utilized at 33 West Main Street, pending approval of the building inspector, Board of Health, and the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you
Come
very
back
much.
when you're ready to go, come back and tell us what you're doing, and we'll get you on the agenda so you can let us know what kind of food you're going to be selling, all that stuff.
I hope to see everyone there.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Thank you.
Great, good luck.
Let's take the announcements first. Mr. Selby, you got anything?
Mr. Chairman, I have one in front of me. The town offices will be closed on Monday, January 15th, 2018, in the observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I don't find any others, Mr. Chairman, in my file.
Okay. Grandma? Mr. Steele? Mr. Flaherty?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
We're all set. We took care of that. Okay. We're going to hold off on new business. We do have a 7:15 hearing. Actually, Mr. Salvo, why don't you read the hearing notice and we can get started
Okay.
going on
This was dated December 18th, 2017, to the Attleboro Sun Chronicle, classifieds, notice of public hearing. Town of Norton, the Town of Norton Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on an application of Blockbuster Auto, 409 Old Colony Road, Norton, Mass. 02766, for a Class II license to buy, sell, exchange, or assemble secondhand motor vehicles or parts thereof in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 140 of the Massachusetts General Laws. Said hearing will be conducted on Thursday, January 4th, 2018, which 7:15 p.m. in Selectmen's Meeting Room. The date has been moved to January 11th, 2018, last week due to weather, at 70 East Main Street in Norton, Mass., and that was to all board members.
Someone here to talk about the Class II license? Is the applicant here? For Buster's? No? Blockbuster Auto? No one's here for, okay. Okay, come on up. Come on up. It's okay, you're starting to make me sweat a bit, so.
Sorry.
Evening, could you identify yourself for the record, please?
Gregory Degnan from Blockbuster Auto, 409 Old Colony Road, rear building.
Okay. So tell us what you want to do over there, Gregory.
Auto repair and car sales.
Is that what you do now? Are you in the business, or?
Yes.
What was your last name?
Degnan, D as in David, E-G-N-A-N.
Thank you. We do have a couple of letters here. Actually, you know what? I have a motion open. I got to remember to close the hearing. Let me see what I have here. So you want to put this in behind some buildings, right in front of the Oasis, right?
Yes,
Near the Oasis, okay.
back of the
There
Oasis.
used to be somebody out there before the garage,
TNT Auto.
years ago. We have a letter from the building inspector, first of all. I visited the above referenced property today with Deputy Chief Simmons with regards to the use of an existing repair garage to be utilized for repair and sale of used automobiles. It is my opinion that the applicant must first submit a plot plan showing the following: parking for the employees. Okay. Well, I'll give you a copy of this in case you haven't seen it.
I haven't.
Parking for the employees, a location of vehicles to be sold, and approximately how many. Location of vehicles to be repaired, and approximately how many will be stored there awaiting repair. Location of exterior dumpsters, if any. Adequate fire apparatus access. Sufficient parking for all businesses on the property. That the board should take into consideration that this is a very congested site and if the applicant is granted the right to repair and sell used cars on the property, the number of vehicles may have to be limited. And that's from Brian Butler, who's our building inspector. Have you met Brian yet?
Yes, today.
Okay.
Meet that letter quick.
So he's expressing some concerns about the location.
And I brought something addressing those concerns.
Okay.
Can I bring it to you?
Yeah.
Now, you're
While you're here, by the way, I gotta give you this.
to take over the property that's been a used car dealership in the past, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the one in the back.
Yes.
It's not the one that
Oh,
old,
it's not the one,
it's behind,
Little place.
it's in the back. This is the Oasis. So it's right out here in the back,
okay.
okay? So,
So it's behind the convenience, the beer and wine store?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cozy beer and wine.
pass this around so you can see it. How many cars do you think about trying to sell over there? Any idea?
5 or 6, and that's
Well, you'll have to let us know, but we do restrict how many you can sell, so
yep. And
Not
he
to
said
think
that would
about.
be fine.
you'll have to tell us how many of those you're gonna need.
And I marked down on that exhibit 6 spaces for display. 6 cars.
Number of employees? Do you have any idea?
Just me. That's it.
Okay, so you only need one space.
Yes. And I have marked down parking spaces for employees and customers, and also for the dumpsters and repair vehicles and any other vehicles.
Okay, we'll give you back that, so you have another copy of that?
No, but yeah, I have it on my computer.
Okay, all
I
right,
can print it out.
all right. Well, there's some questions about whether or not, in their opinion, it's even allowed there. I know it's a pre-existing use. I went by there today myself, and it's tough to see it now if it's buried in snow. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, all that'll go
Yes.
away, but, yeah, there's some issues there already, but, are you gonna, I guess my initial concern is the location as far as trying to sell cars, because it's like hidden in the back.
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna have to do a lot of advertising online or whatever
Sure.
in order to sell. I don't know if it's visible enough to really do that kind of business, but,
Right, I'm not looking to do like your average used car lot where they have 50 cars. I'm just trying to sell a few cars along with the repairs.
okay. Anybody have any questions?
I do when I get that back.
You got a copy of it in your,
What I think that our building inspector is asking for a plot plan for, it'll show the boundaries of the layout of your property. Okay, because this property butts that, Fisherman's 3 and all that butts that also, okay? So what he wants to see is where you actually own around that.
Oh, no, all of those properties are on one lot. It's one owner for all of it.
Okay, but how many spaces does Oasis have over here?
No. Oasis is in the back. Can I come over and point it out to you?
This is Oasis right here.
no, Oasis in the back. You can't see Oasis on it.
Oh, okay, over here, I'm sorry, yeah, all right, yeah, I was backwards.
So if you're looking at it, Oasis is this building over
Yep,
here.
yep.
This is like a giant driveway. The liquor store is here. They have parking all the way back, parking in front.
Behind Fisherman's 3,
He's
is it?
saying they might require, this building might require some additional parking, which that's where the blank area is here. And then this would be for customers, and this is dumpsters. This is where some repair vehicles are, and this is where the display is, and it's all marked accordingly. And he had a concern about the fire,
Fire apparatus, yeah.
yeah, to get in there with the truck or out, and so that's there.
Okay.
Right now, there's a snow mound that you're seeing, right, earlier today. But you
All right,
guys,
so you're probably just gonna need to show him what you're gonna be
okay,
operating. He's gonna wanna see it on paper.
this is everything he
Yep,
described.
okay.
So it should be fine.
Okay.
I guess there's a lot of questions of what have it. I think the inspectors have to take a look at the property first. Come back with, some recommendations to us. You're telling us you're gonna do repairs on the property, but yet on the application it says you're not gonna generate waste oil or antifreeze, no old tires, no old batteries. So to me, that's part of the repair process.
Right, it's as needed, if needed. We're not planning on doing a lot of repairs. We're just trying to sell a couple of cars and do a few repairs on our own vehicles, and maybe add a couple of more cars to the public.
I mean, I have some concerns.
then if we-
I have some concerns about it. So I want to make sure we have everything lined up before we make a decision. I'm not against anyone trying to run a business.
No, sir.
I don't care how you do it, and that's basically up to you, but I do have, there's some holes in this that we need we need our department heads to give us some professional advice, direction.
Yep,
You know-
and that's all to be determined, who we use to pick up oil and everything. So first, we'll get into business, and if we have a need for that, we would call these places up and see who gives the best deal. You know, we don't
I think the Board
really,
of Health is gonna make you have something in place before,
okay.
from past experience.
Well, it could be
You're gonna
subject
have
to that.
You're gonna have to have a program in place where they can come and pick this stuff up.
Yep. It could be subject to that, and, you know, I'll start making my calls.
Anyone else? There was another business there. You guys remember it? I remember years ago, there was something else in the back.
I remember
I don't
T&T
remember
Auto,
what it
so I
was.
remember-
It was
I remember
TNT
having-
Auto for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some issues back there at some one point. But
Auto repair.
Yeah, I don't remember the issues, and I know there's always been like a small auto repair business back there,
Yes.
and
And nothing has
I would-
changed. It's all the same.
I mean, anybody that deals with oil and stuff like that has to have a contractor that's willing to take the waste oil away anyways.
Yep.
That, antifreeze, most suppliers of batteries, I know will take the old batteries back.
Yep. I have the supplier for that. We use a guy in Providence all the time.
So I don't really have a concern with the waste liquids and stuff, because it's,
part of the Board of Health, I think.
well, not only that, but it's all part of the auto business that, you know, if you're gonna buy oil from somebody, they're going to give you the name of somebody who's gonna take away the waste oil that you drain out.
And that's why I brought it up, because there was a form here that was made out, it's for the Board of Health. It asked all those questions, and he's saying no on all of them. So that's gonna have to be fixed.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
says yes, you know, because that's how,
yeah, just put find out who, and then
Yes.
put a name in there. That way it gives them that warm fuzzy feeling that they know it's not gonna be going down the drain or
Yes.
out into the backyard.
anyone else? Anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against this proposal? Okay. Chair, I entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
A motion, and a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, personally, I don't have a problem approving the application, but it has to come with some contingencies on it, some
That's fine, sir.
inspections and stuff, because there's way too much up in the air. We have a couple of options. We can either table it until you come back with some additional information, and that way you don't have to advertise and do all that stuff again. We can just table it. Or we can, take a vote tonight with the subject to certain conditions.
That would be better, because I could get all that information by tomorrow.
Okay. I'm not that optimistic, but,
Okay. Usually they want to know if you're licensed first before they
Yeah.
even, make a deal with you. A lot of it's by contract.
okay. Anyone else? I mean,
I have no problem approving the application with contingencies that the building inspector, Board of Health, and Fire Department sign off on all their concerns.
that a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
We have a second. Discussion?
Just that, question 5 wasn't answered on the Board of Health, so I'm sure the health inspector will.
Well, yeah, as part of the motion, we are asking the Board of
Yeah.
Health to
Yep,
get
okay.
involved, so. Anyone else? We have a motion and a second. Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Salvo?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. Good luck. Work with our inspectors, that's your next step. Take that upstairs and, I think they're there now, actually. No, maybe not.
No, it's,
Another 5 minutes, but come back tomorrow and make sure you work with the folks and
Okay.
keep it going. But it's going to be contingent on all those departments signing off, and we can't take any further action until we get the sign-offs.
Okay, great. So
Okay.
it's approved, subject to
Yeah.
their signing off on it.
Correct.
I get adding that information. to
Yeah,
require-
if they're all in favor of it, we have no problem with it.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
All right,
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a license renewal.
Surprised.
I think what we need to do is make sure the town manager's aware that we need to send a letter to this folks and let them know that, technically for the last 11 days, they've been running without a license. So we have to make sure that we get that message across to these folks, so. Anyway, we have a renewal application for P&D Management LLC Group 1, DBA McDonald's, 175 Mansfield Avenue, for a common vicular license. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I would add to that motion that in the future, we will not, cannot allow someone to run a business without a license, so.
Mr. Chairman, I just comment on this. We talk about this every year, day in and day out.
I know.
Certain individuals have to be, told 1,000 times to get
Right.
their paperwork in.
Right.
You attach a thing with a letter next year that if you don't have it in on a certain date, there's gonna be a substantial penalty. We'll just name a number or figure out something that maybe gets their attention to get it in on time.
Well, first and foremost, we don't give, we tell them they close on January 1st.
Oh, that too.
I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. So,
Seems odd. McDonald's? I mean,
I'm
it's
really
not like
surprised.
It's a rinky-dink
Yeah.
company that maybe,
surprised.
right? I don't know. When I see something like this with a company like that, I wonder what else they're letting go. Just saying.
I hear you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. I will speak to Mike about making sure that it doesn't happen again. Okay, we're going to hold off on new business. Our guest is in traffic trying to get through a tunnel. I guess they had an accident or something in Boston in a tunnel. We all know how that is, so.
That was a while ago, hours ago.
We have a request, on the new business, we have a vote to approve the school department Chevrolet CSD-7446-C school bus with a bin number of 1GBJ G3121611 45069 to be declared as a surplus item.
So moved.
Second.
So this will be going up to auction. It's a minibus. We don't have any big buses, so,
Can you verify that VIN number for me?
yeah, I can if you want me to. I'm just curious about what year it is. There's no mention of it, but
Yeah.
the year is on here anyway.
2006 or 07.
07? Thank you, Peter.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
So,
8.
It's 179,408 miles if anyone's interested, but it is going to be going out to auction as a surplus
It's
item,
2006.
2006. Figure that out from the bin number. Okay. The motion to declare the school department Chevrolet school bus, I'm not reading the rest of it, as a surplus item.
We already did that.
Do we? Motion second.
Mm.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous, thank you. God, I thought I'd have to read it again. Okay. We have some Sursage DPW service contracts that have to be voted upon. I spoke to Mr. Units, and everything is in order. This is part of the Southeastern Regional Services Group. We're part of a major group that does this stuff. So this is an opportunity for us to take advantage of a group buy. And most of these we've seen in the past, for the most part. So it's, on the pavement reclamation, we have Murray Paving and Reclamation of Holliston, Mass. In-place hot mix asphalt is KG Keating of Acushnet, Mass. On the Cape Sealing, Seal Coating Incorporated, Braintree, Mass. Random Crack Sealing is Crack Sealer Incorporated of Raynham, Mass. Chlorinated Rubber Traffic Line Painting is Markings Incorporated of Pembroke, Mass. Thermoplastic Traffic Line Painting is Markings Incorporated of Pembroke, Mass. Epoxy Traffic Line Painting is Markings Incorporated of Pembroke, Mass. Permanent Trench Patch Repairs is LaRusso Corporation of Plainville, Mass. Guardrail Installation of Steel Beams is Premier Fence of Canton, Mass. And let's see. Sidewalk construction and setting of curbs and edging is LAL Construction of Fall River, Mass. And I think that's all of them. The bids are on the sheet. Most of them are the same as last year. They haven't changed at all. And we have a couple more. Well, maybe we don't. You notice how it goes from number 18 to 22? Anyway, tub grinding of New England Recycling of Taunton, Mass. Loam and compost and gravel screening is American Earth Company of Canton, Mass. And snow shoveling on flat roofs is Gibson Roofs of Hanover, Mass. Anyone have any questions on any of these things? I mean, it's pretty standard. It's, the bids have already been negotiated, so hopefully we're getting the best deal we're gonna get out there. Okay, Chair entertain a motion to vote to award the Associates DPW Services contract from February 1st, 2018 to January 31st, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we'll skip up to appointments and resignations and retirements. We have an appointment of a full-time public safety dispatchers. Mr. Salvo, you want to read the?
Sure.
You can group them both together if you want.
Do them both together?
Yeah. I think they're both the same. Let's see. Yeah, they're both the same.
This time, we have a letter to the Board of Selectmen from Michael D. Units, Town Manager, dated January 3rd, 2018. Notice of appointment of full-time dispatcher in Communications Department. I hereby notify the Board of Selectmen, in accordance with the provisions of Article 4, Section 2B of the Norton Charter, that acting in my capacity, the appointing authority, I have appointed the following individual as a full-time dispatcher in the Communications Department. Jennifer Gray, Charles McLaughlin. The appointment was made on January 2nd, 2018, in accordance with the provisions of the Norton Charter, and will be effected on January 17th, 2018, unless the Board of Selectmen votes to accept or reject this appointment prior to said date. I specifically request this Board the acceptance of this appointment with an effective date of January 15th, 2018.
Okay. Let's see, let's have Jennifer first. Want to come on up for a minute? Just tell us a bit about yourself. Thanks for coming. I'm sure you learned a lot already about how the town works and doesn't work.
My name is Jennifer Gray. I'm from Rentham, Massachusetts. I have about 6 years of experience in public safety, and I'm looking forward to starting with this town.
So you're already trained, experienced, and ready to go.
Yeah, I've been through, I went through a dispatch academy. I've also been through a police academy, all CPR trained, EMD, that kind of stuff, up to date.
Very good.
Thank you for having me.
This is great. Anyone have any questions?
No, just
No?
welcome aboard.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Thank you all.
Thanks for coming.
Chair entertain a motion to appoint Jennifer Gray to the position of full-time dispatcher,
So
So
moved.
moved.
effective as of January 15, 2018.
So moved.
Have a motion, a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Charles McLaughlin? Where are you? There we are. How are you? Good, thanks. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm 23 years old. I grew up in Bellingham, Massachusetts. I have an associate's degree in criminal justice from Mass Bay Community College over in Wellesley, Mass. I have over 4 years of dispatching experience, most recently full-time for the town of Bellingham. Looking forward to this opportunity and this new venture in my life.
Great. Well, glad to have you. Again, great that you have the experience.
Parents, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You are aware, both of you, that we are going into a regional dispatch center
Yes,
very near future, so,
yes.
you know, you're both more than qualified.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. Anyone have any questions? Okay,
Thank you.
Aboard.
thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Chair entertain a motion to appoint Charles McLaughlin to the full-time dispatch position effective date of January 15, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Great, thank you. Okay, we'll get to the water department shortly. We're going to get this thing set up, see if this thing gets ready to go here. There will be no town manager's report. Thank you. Okay. So next on the agenda, I have warrants and minutes. Oh, Mr. Flaherty, you do get a chance to chime in this time. On the warrants and minutes, the report of the chairman, Robert W. Kimball Jr., on the following payroll and invoice warrants. I would entertain a motion to approve the warrant, invoice warrant AP 26 dated December 28, 2017, in the amount of $1,236,748.93.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous, okay. We have, I'll entertain a motion to approve the biweekly payroll warrant number PR 14 for the period ending December 30th, 2017, dated January 4th, 2018, in the amount of $1,261,635.50.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Next, we have the invoice warrant AP 27 dated January 4th, 2018, in the amount of $641,245.37.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next, we have entertained a motion to approve warrant number AP 28 dated January 11, 2018, in the amount of $513,589.37.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Did I get them all?
Yep.
Okay. I also, the minutes, there's the minutes from the joint meeting between the Board of Selectmen and the school committee in your file. Did everyone get a chance to read those? Yeah, find it myself. Everyone have a chance?
Yeah.
I mean, I looked it over. The only thing that I found wrong, and it was, I made the motion, and I can't make a motion, so, but I'm not gonna, I mean, at this point in the game, it is what it is. And I'm not sure who made the motion, to be honest with you. Anyway, Chair obtained a motion, Mr. Flaherty's first opportunity to vote for minutes here. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of December 11, 2017, the joint meeting with the Norton School Committee and the Norton Board of Selectmen as written.
So moved.
Second.
You have a second?
Mary did.
You seconded it? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Present.
We have four in favor and one present. Okay. How are we doing over there with our technology, Shane?
So
Water quality.
he needs a Windows 10 machine for internet access to your town's Wi-Fi in order for me to put an application. Because he has Windows 7.
So it's not going to work.
So if he has regular pictures, I can put those on the air. He's looking for them right now.
Okay.
Because the PowerPoint won't play with what I have here for them. And it can't connect to that because it's two issues.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to figure this thing out. This is the second time in 2 meetings we haven't been able to deal with this, so.
So
You're gonna welcome our new recording secretary.
What's that?
You're gonna welcome our new recording secretary to the board.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was asking you that. Find out sometime.
Mike.
What?
Ask Mike.
Do it next time.
Yeah, we're doing this thing.
You're off going in the woods trying to fight a bear.
Okay, Bernie, why don't you come on up while they're working on that? How come you come up and give us an update on what you're doing? Give them a couple more minutes to look at that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished board. Good to see you all. First off, I come bearing gifts for approximately $300,000 of the town's money, water department money. This is the draft report. Oh, this is the draft report that's going to go to the MHC for the archaeological dig that was done on Plain Street for our treatment facility. So, approximately $300,000 for this document.
That's what it costs us to go through all that.
That piece of paper? I mean, those pieces of paper?
About 286 meters.
Wow.
Did they find anything? I
There's
mean,
there's pictures of a few things in there. Not much.
They did find a few things?
They did.
No human remains?
Nothing to really write home to
Nothing like
to mother about, to be honest with you.
300.
However, that was a
Up
necessary
to the town manager.
thing that obviously we've, for 30 months, we've been going through this whole process. And I'm pleased to report that as of my report on Tuesday from Weston and Sampson, we're online, on board. We've been submitted to the Central Register.
Okay.
And on January 17th, it will be coming out for the bid process. So, can I hear a hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
So for
I have in front of you.
There may be some people at home, we want to make sure we're clear about what we're talking about, because a
Sure.
lot of people are very angry about our water.
Absolutely.
I don't want to blow too much of this stuff off as we go along here, but
Nope.
just so people understand, the $300,000 we just spent on the archaeological stuff was mandated by government. We had to do that, and that's what held the project up for.
Mandated by the Mass Historic Commission in approximately 30 months.
So about
For
30
them to
months.
clear, for our archaeologists to submit a report that would clear the area for us to dig on our own property.
Okay, so that put us behind 30 months, just so
It
people
has.
understand that.
It has, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the timeline is on the 11th, which is today. They sent the information to the Central Register. On the 15th, they're going to have plans and specs completed, which is Monday. On Tuesday, they're going to accent the plans. On the 17th, it will appear in the Central Register. The 31st of January, it will be a site visit, and the 6th of February will be the second site visit. On the 14th of February, there will be a sub-bids will be opened. 2/28/18, the general bids will be opened. We may have to call for a special town meeting,
We may?
or we may.
We may. But that's just,
We'll have to see how far we get into it.
exactly.
The construction's about 15 months. It's going to start hopefully in April, if we have the special. If not, could be May before we get to it. And the complete construction will be done, again, completed in about 15 months, sometime by the end of the summer of 2019.
And Mr. Chairman, the 15 months has been, that's something that we've dramatically tried to let our subcontractors and our contractors know that obviously this is it's a very fragile project, very dear to my heart and very necessary and needful. So we are hoping that this project will be constructed within 15 months. That's a goal, and I'm hopeful to ascertain that goal.
Is there anything else on the water treatment plant you want to tell us? Is there anything else?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman. Like I said, I'm very, very thankful that DEP is streamlined this. Obviously, they had the plans back in 15. The treatment facility itself, the actual bones to the facility has not changed. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but we had the 30-month delay. We had to change the dynamics of where the building was going to be located, and certain criteria had to be changed in order to facilitate Mass Historic Commission's wishes. So that's all been done. The SRF, which is the funding aspect of the project, that's been taken care of. And as I said, DEP's approval had not changed since 2015 till now. So we're very thankful for DEP because they understand the community's interest and has the community's interest at heart, so.
The building had to be modified too, right?
The building had to be the building didn't have to be modified, it had to be moved a bit, only because there were some shards of pottery and so on and so forth that were found. They didn't want it to be disturbed. It's being left the way it is. So it's just a manipulation. It's not, it hasn't been shrunk. It's still gonna contain the same vessels that it was supposed to contain.
What's the additional cost that's been added to the project because of the setbacks?
Well, we've spent $300,000 for the archaeological examination, so to speak, and obviously 2.5, 30 months, the economy's changed. So Mr. Salvo's a contractor. He understands that maybe if you were going to bid on something 2.5 years ago, a little bit different than it is today. Today, contractors can pretty much name their prices. I mean, it's a very competitive field now. So we're probably looking, we may need additional funding.
The problem that we have right now in today's economy is that everybody's busy.
Right.
There is nobody available to do anything.
Right.
So this is going to be the
Contractors are
name of the game type thing.
Contractors are demanding the highest amount.
I hate it to go this way because there are some people that are still struggling in the industry, and you don't want that person to be doing work that should be doing something else for a better quality. And I hope we don't end up with that.
No, unfortunately, our industry, the way the Mass General laws go, we have to accept the lowest bid. We're confident, Weston and Sampson knows about 5 companies that probably will bid on this project. I'm hopeful of one company that I know that I hope they get the bid because I've seen them actually build a treatment facility in Milford, Mass. That's where I came from before I hold this position. Great building, great design, and they did a great job. However, I don't hold those cards. The bids, as you well know, the process, they have to be opened, and it's to the lowest bid. Is there any, does anyone else have any other questions about the treatment facility?
No, I think it's long overdue,
It's
and I'm glad.
much long overdue.
It's finally happening, so.
I've been in Norton for 4.5 years, Mr. Chairman. I started in May. I believe in June or July was the first time that we attempted to go forward with this financing, so on and so forth. So it's something that's tender to my heart, and I'm glad that I've been able to see it through to this point. Getting a little gray about it. However, there are better times coming, for sure.
We appreciate you showing up.
So I have a few other things that I can update you on. We've been tasked for a certain amount of months now to provide some clean water when area residents are having issues. I'm pleased to announce that I've signed a contract with a vending machine company. They'll have a for free water vending machine. It'll be housed on the at the entrance of the old police station facility. It's frost free. It should be running 365 days a year. It will be taken care of by a private vending company. They will have their own public water contract. In other words, it will not be under Norton's water license. They'll have their own license. We will provide them with the raw water that goes into the machine. It's their responsibility for the machine, for the service of the machine, and for the sampling of the machine. And my task was to look for a good place to have this facility. And we found one. We had to shift gears a few times and in certain things. The plumbing in this building, as we all know, this building is pretty old, and we had to do a lot of research. And today I had a commercial plumber come in, and we're pretty confident that we found the actual home run route that we need for this. So that's actually today. Archer Electric will be doing some electrical work hopefully for us because that's the town electrician. I'm very hopeful that I'd say 3 weeks this thing should be up and running, and I apologize for any delays, but it has not been the easiest of all tests. This will be the first municipal vending unit that southeastern Massachusetts and I think maybe all of the Commonwealth will actually have. So this is kind of groundbreaking things. A lot of hurdles to jump through, But however, the light is at the end of the tunnel. I appreciate everyone's patience, but we're almost there. We're at the cusp.
So to be
So-
clear on this is going to be free to
Free to Norton residents.
Norton residents. They
Three-
can come over
360
here.
24/7,
It's
365.
going to be open 24 hours a day. It's going to be out here where actually where the food pantry is.
Right.
It's going to be by the entrance to the food pantry on the police side of the building, police department side of the building.
Right.
According to this, it'll fill up 2 5-gallon jugs at once. All the maintenance and care will be taken care of by the company.
There will be. I had signed a contract with the company to not only provide the actual unit, but also provide the service as well.
So all they have to do is really walk up, push a button on what size they're going to fill what
Yes, sir.
size.
Bring their vessel in and, yes, sir.
Drainage shouldn't be a problem because it's so.
Drainage, I had to actually, that was one of the things that had me, perplexed. But we've taken care of that. There's a drain manhole out there. It's not connected to any other drain manholes, and that's exactly what DEP certified for me to have.
Well, again, it's a long time coming, and we're glad you guys have finally getting us an opportunity to do this. This going to be like room temperature water, or? I mean,
I'm not sure of the temperature, but I know that it's a frost-free device, so,
So 2 weeks ago, it would have worked?
2 weeks ago, it would
It would have worked, wow.
have worked,
I'd be surprised.
as well as I.
Yeah, okay. Anyone have any questions about the blood dismissal? I mean, this is just a Band-Aid. We understand that, people
Right,
are
this will be, I will have to renew my contract every year, but I'm looking at renewing this contract until this water treatment facility is done, and that I'm certain that the good people in Norton will have good quality water.
Okay. Yeah, they'll fill 1 or 5-gallon pails, so buckets. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Keep us informed on this. Let us know when it's up and running.
Absolutely, we'll be on Facebook, it'll be on the town webpage. I'm hoping maybe we can have Mr. Howard and Mr. Barrows come down. Because like I said, this is kind of a unique situation. It's pretty much one of a kind.
Okay. Very good.
Just to let you know that the 3 wells that are slated to have the treatment facility, wells number 4, 5, and 6 are off of Plain Street. We're going to clean them earlier than we normally do, starting within the next 2 weeks and leading up to our flushing program in April. The 3 wells will be cleaned down in that area, just to try to be proactive and get involved in, trying to make sure that we don't have a problem coming in our next stage of flushing. And our next stage, and that will parlay into my next, the next stage of flushing will be a unidirectional flushing that's been done engineering-wise. So in other words, I hired Weston Sampson to take the town, and we went out, we did GIS, we have all the gate valves, all the hydrants, we have a hydraulic model. These are the things that, the last 4 years of my superintendentship that I've requested through FinCom. It's been financed through the water department, but these are excellent tools that I can use, that we will be able to use in order to clean the system more efficiently. And as I said, that'll be instituted for the first time April 2nd. It'll be the first Monday after Easter.
Look, just so people understand, when we flush a hydrant, we draw water from everywhere. It
Right.
comes from
Well, we haven't,
all different.
historically, the water department for the last 20 years have done it sort of on their own. They have operated valves and so on and so forth. They have isolated areas. However, we've had a few different specialized engineering-wise things done so that we can hopefully curtail the influence in certain quadrants, and that's what it's going to be broken down into, as quadrants. So we think we have I used this in Foxborough. Unfortunately, just someone had to take the time and spend the money and have it looked at, and that's what we have done.
Okay.
So this is a game changer. And actually, it's a great it's at a great time, because actually what you want to do is you want to clean your distribution system before I have a treatment facility that's going to give me clean water. There's no sense of spending $10 million on a treatment facility when you still have a dirty system. So everything's kind of coming together hand in hand.
Okay.
Just to follow up on a few other things, The town of Mansfield said that they would sell us water. We'd have to enter into an agreement if we needed that avenue at this time. Unfortunately, where we're connected in an area that doesn't have the dirty water. So, but in case we need that, that's an insurance. And the town of Attleboro was unable to provide us unless there's an emergency situation. January 2nd was the last time that anyone in my office has recorded a water quality complaint.
You want to hear one tonight? No?
Mr. Chairman, I thought you were going to be nice to me tonight.
I mean, I understand, I'm right next to these wells, but I'm still getting the brown stuff. I mean, I don't, you know.
Well, we do have,
For this treatment plant.
we do have things that go bump in the night. You know, like we lose power. Have you lost the power for any certain amount of time? Because when there are power surges and so on and so forth, we have communication failures. Sometimes our SCADA doesn't have a good pulse in a sense, and the well will go down. And when the well goes down, things change direction, and you have it. So it's not like we're trying to do this, you know, to anybody. And like I said, I'm trying to be proactive in getting the 3 dirtiest wells cleaned in a certain amount of time before the hot season starts. We had some freeze-ups, obviously, cold weather, you know, indicative of freeze-ups, especially at 250 Mansfield Ave, the trailer park next to Cumberland Farms. We dealt with them on a case-by-case basis, worked with the trailer park officials, and got people back online. If I can shift gears for a minute on the sewer side, take 2 minutes and 2 seconds, if everyone's all set with my water quality
Yeah,
reports.
the only other one, the other complaint I got was on Reservoir. But I think it's in the area where you're going to replace those new lines.
We do have $1.1 million that I've put aside for the new line replacement for that, and that's one of my, other than the sewer project that I was going to tell you about. They're 90% done with that engineering, and that should be going out to bid, I'd say, within the next 5 to 6 weeks. And that'll be Reservoir Street from Elm Street to the Route 140 side.
Okay.
And just, we have the sewer project, obviously, that we're going strong on West Main Street. All the borings have been done. It's a state highway. I've been told by the state that we're going to have to do the predominance of the work at night. It's just the way it's going to be. So that's going to slow down the project a little bit when it gets done, when it gets going. The engineering's not done yet, and the actual the cost, we're still in the process of talking to the Housing Authority for the grant money that they have left over that they came to the table and said that they had. We have to ink that down before we can actually go and assess any betterments to any of the properties along West Main Street. So there's still some question marks out there. If the Housing Authority money falls through, then the project is in jeopardy. So right now we should, I would imagine, within the next 2 to 3 weeks, know exactly where we stand on that.
So you haven't gone out to bid or anything for that?
That's, no, and it still has not been, it's not 100% engineered.
Yeah, okay. Any questions on that?
All right, and I guess this leads me into Dick Johnson's presentation from Suez. Dick came in 2 weeks ago and gave us a presentation on ice pigging. It's a relatively new technology in the southeast region. I worked for the town of Walpole for a bit under Rick Mattson. Rick Mattson's been superintendent over there. I've known him for 20 years. Rick's actually entered into an agreement and contract with Dick and his people. I'm going to go see that when that comes up. They're waiting for good weather. Obviously, doing any kind of work in the street and with hydrants and water mains right now is not practical in this area. But with that, I'll leave you with Dick Johnson. And if you need me to come back to see you at any time, please let me know.
I want to say one thing, and it's frustrating for me, and I'm not sure about the other board members, but I really do appreciate you coming out here and filling us in and keeping us up to date. My issue is we have 3 elected board members that don't come back here to support you. I would never do that to my department head. And I honestly do appreciate the fact that you come in here and under fire sometimes, you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, it gets back to that same argument we've been doing for years, is the fact that if we had appointed commissioners, the manager could make them come. But where they're elected, they don't have to.
Well, I do have a good board, Mr. Chairman, just to let you know.
I'm sure you do, but you know, when the fire comes, when it gets hot, sometimes you gotta walk into it. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate you coming here and.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. I have broad shoulders, and like I said, I think everyone knows that I'm as transparent as possible, so there's not many questions about me, so.
Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson? Good to see you.
Nice to see you all. I was at my annual sales conference at Daytona Beach. Flew into Boston at 8:30. I mean, at 4:30 this afternoon. Figured I'd have plenty of time to make it here by 7, so that I could have got together with your IT expert. But he has figured out a way so that.
You're gonna see it on the screen over there.
Oh, okay.
People at home can see it. We're not gonna be able to see it as well as they can, but that's okay. As long as the people can hear what we're talking about.
Great. So this is a cleaning mechanism, and I saw your video on TV, and I was thought immediately of this technology that we brought into this country about 4 years ago, and it's not restorative. So we market it as being 1,000 times more effective than unidirectional or hydrant flushing, but it's very important you recognize for those lines that are tuberculated and that you've got to build up an incrustation, the 10-inch line is now 6. It's not going to solve that problem. But I think that from the information we've been able to gather from Bernie and from the board, I really think that there are paths in working in conjunction with your engineer in doing unidirectional flushing that you'll be able to solve some of your problems. And the amazing thing for me is that I'm working in Wareham, working in Webster, and I'm working in Shrewsbury, and they have exactly the same problem that you have. Manganese, iron, biofilm, years of this mineral coming into your system, building up in your pipes. And you're doing the right thing, just like all these other communities. You're building a water plant, or rehabilitating an existing water plant. But when you get that nice clean water coming out of your system, they're still going to be going into those pipes that have got a buildup of years of these minerals. So how do we take care of that? The University of Bristol in the UK, 10 years ago, came up with a technology that was a cleaning technology. It's been around the world, and only in this country, probably for the last 4 years. And my company, Suez, brought it in. And we have 2,000 clients throughout the country. And we went to them first to introduce it, to see how they felt about it. And we got a very positive reaction. And now we have 3 units. We have 2 10-ton units, which is like 2,600 gallons of virtually a slushy. And we have a 2-ton unit which has 600 gallons to do these lines. I've done it extensively in Mass. Did a project in Ayr, Wellesley, Dedham Westwood. We have a 10-year contract in Webster. We were working with the engineer, and each year as they designate an area. And you wouldn't want to use this for your entire system because it'd be too expensive. But in those areas where you really have got a lot of dirty water issues, and in conjunction with your unidirectional flushing, I think will really make some sense for you.
What does it do, Dick? I mean, you flush this stuff into the system. Does it help clean it, or does it encapsulate it, or what exactly does it do?
Okay, the other name up there, Adam Snesniak. I'm going to retire sometime this year, believe it or not, only 75. And Adam is taking my place, and he was with me at the water board when we made the presentation. And I don't know when it's going to happen sometime during the year, so that's why you see Adam's name up there as well.
Next.
Yeah, next. This is just some of the other things that we do. And after being at the board meeting and talking about the well situation, we forwarded some information about our asset management program on wells, where wells, you clean it and you find the next year you got to come back and clean it again. We have an asset management program that we will guarantee the performance of the well after we have rehabilitated it. And also that last one, that was just done in Milton. We did 1,800 feet of spray-in-place pipe lining. And this is one where you get the heavy incrustation. We go in, we camera it, we clean all the incrustation out. We put a liner in there with a 75-year design life. You don't have to excavate other than for the entry, so you have less road disruption. And again, if it's an area where you need to expand your capacity, you're not going to use this because you're going to dig it out and you're going to put a bigger line in. But if you're going to have if you got the same volume of water needed in a given area, this is half the price. So we've given information about them to the water board. Next.
Thanks, Shane.
So this is one of our, this is the 2-ton unit. And again, we use this for smaller projects. And the volume of it is based upon, you're actually buying a quantity of slurry. And the 10-ton unit, which has 2,600 gallons, if it's a 6-inch PVC line, we're going to do 3,000 feet. If it's ductile iron, 10-inch, we're going to do maybe 1,200 feet. So you're paying for a load of ice that comes to the community, goes into the lines, and the beauty part of it is no excavation. We're using 50% of the amount of water that you would normally use, and you don't have to shut the system down.
Are you using chemicals, or what are you using? What is the process?
So it's like a glacier. We put the ice in the line.
Ice, it's water?
Yep, yep, and we can do wastewater as well. And we go in, we shut the valve off behind the hydrant, put a tube of ice in. We go in your 2¼ inch coupling on your hydrant, and it's very, very technical in determining the type of pipe, the diameter of pipe, and the length of pipe of how big the pig has to be in order to get this line clean. You know, in some cases it could be 16 feet, some cases it could be 35 feet. And so we inject that into the line. Then we open up your valve. So it's only your pressure that's pushing the ice through. A lot of concern always about, you're going to put a lot of pressure in my line, these are old pipes, you're going to blow them out. It does not happen. And the beauty part of it is that the only thing we add is a little bit of sodium chloride, regular table salt, all NSF approved. And we have to do that because if we didn't, it would get too hard. We wouldn't be able to control the hardness of it. So it goes in as a liquid, but it really acts as a solid. And the beauty part of it, and I can remember in Taunton when I flushed those lines every spring and fall, the water complaints, my wives coming in with the white shirts with all the rust. The guys used to give me cases of that white stuff that you put in, and that was my only solution. With this, because the ice is going down the line, it'll go up the connection maybe 1 or 2 feet, and then when we get through, we wash out the system. What happens? It melts, and it goes away. So your system's not down. We put door knockers out for maybe an hour and a half, and that's all the time that the whole system is down during this process. And then again, we're going to be doing 1,800 feet, 2,000, 3,000, all depending on the size of the pipe and the material. And that's the unit. Please, next. Again, a glacier, ice entering the pipe. Okay. Next, please. That's what the unit looks like. They're $1 million apiece. The new one we have has the ice making and the implementation all in the same truck. And we can make all the ice in a 12-hour period. With the older unit, it takes 24 hours to make the ice, and then the next day we're pigging. So we're making ice one day, we're pigging it the next day.
So this ice is working like an abrasive. As it's going through the pipe, it's kind of
Exactly.
moving through and just taking stuff with it.
And for manganese, iron, biofilm, sediment on the bottom of your line, you're going to get it all. You'll get some with unidirectional. And many of the projects that I've worked on, they did unidirectional the week before we did this. And the water superintendents were just amazed at the amount of water we could, amount of debris that would come out of it. And we're doing this in 40 states now, believe it or not, with 3 units.
It's okay.
Keep going, that's international. We don't need to know about that. And, well, I don't know if it'll play. Okay. And again,
It is.
it goes around corners. I did raw water lines in Wellesley, where there was a 12-inch to a 10-inch to an 8-inch. This was the only thing that could clean that line because of the fact that it's flexible. It'll go through butterfly valves. And so the best part about it, instead of flushing out all of that stuff you're catching, into a wetland or whatever, if you have a sewer system, at the end of the line, we'll put it in the sewer system. Or if you don't, we're going to put it in a pumper truck and we're going to take it away. And again, there's nothing harmful because it's basically your water with a little bit of salt. And if you want to disinfect, well, we're doing it. Our equipment has all the potential to be able to do that. So we can disinfect the thing. Oh, it's working now, okay. He's good.
Yeah.
We'll keep them around.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Dick, you would go work with the board and the engineers to find out our critical areas in town that need to be addressed ASAP, correct?
Right.
I pretty much have that information, Bob.
Okay. So, we would do those so many each year, so much footage each year, so that keeps the costs to a minimum that we could afford to do it?
Exactly. Webster has a 10-year contract, and the nice thing about our 10-year contract, we don't escalate at all. We'll keep the price flat. They did put it out to bid. There's nobody else that does it. But I mean, again, for all of what people require in procurement, and that doesn't bother us at all. We're doing about $85,000 a year there. Walpole just put out a bid for a 5-year contract. In the spring, as soon as the weather breaks, we're going to be doing about $135,000 worth of work there. And again, it's subject to annual appropriation. So if the next year, something happened, or maybe you felt you didn't need it, Shrewsbury the first year did about $180,000. But they found out that they had so much manganese coming out of their system that we'd clean it one day and we'd go back on the camera and look at it the next day. It was just as bad. So they did all of the really bad parts. Now they're building their plant, and when they get the new clean water, then they're going to go in and finish the job. They just felt that it was just becoming too redundant for them to be able to get there. And again, these are some of the things I've already mentioned. Next slide. And that's what it looks like. If we had some strawberry flavoring, we'd have all the kids in the neighborhood over there. And again, you don't have to excavate. Westboro did a whole bunch of cleaning with the swab. They had to dig up 3 streets because when you lose the pig, if you've got some sort of mechanical thing down there, the only way you can get it out is you got to dig the road up to get it out. With ours, it melts. It melts. Next.
It only melts, but it also probably tells them they have a bigger problem than they thought they had.
Yeah, yeah.
Fix it.
And again, this just shows you you know, we're the advantages over unidirectional or hydrant flushing. And we're not saying you don't need to do that. You need to do that, but you can do this in concert with it. Next. Okay, these are just all the things that I told you about. Keep going. There's no risk. It's not the silver bullet. It doesn't solve all the problems, but it takes care of some of the really concentrated ones. And there's some live pictures of the types of things that you see that are coming out.
I remember a few years ago, a water superintendent came in with a valve, and they had just removed it. They had to take it out. And that thing was like a 6-inch diameter, and you could just see the hole in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And he brought it in to make a point that, you know, I'm sure we're going to find some of that. So when your stuff hits something like that, I'm going to guess that's when it pretty much stops, and they know they get a bigger problem than what your system can handle.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, and the thing is, because of the fact that we've got so much ice, you're going to pay for so much, and we're going to designate X amount of streets that we're going to do it on. We go in and we make the first run on that street, and Bernie's going to be right there with us, and the engineer, and you know, because of the fact there's a bottle test, and I've got a couple slides on that. We're testing the water all the time, so you can see what it looks like in the beginning, what it looks like as the pig is coming through, and you see what it looks like on the end. If the end product isn't better than that first bottle we pulled out, we'd say, hey, let's do it again. Mm-hmm. Let's do it again. And so there'd be maybe one less run that we do that day, but you do that run that much more effectively. Next, please. And again, that's just the showing you the truck putting it in, going through the line.
Again, it's just the expense of not having to dig up these.
Oh, yeah.
streets. You know, plus the fact that we have some areas where we have brand-new pavement, and we can't touch them for 5 years. We can actually go in and do some of these repairs without having to dig it all up.
And the other thing that, I mean, in the fact that you don't have to dig, you don't have to excavate, you're never going to lose it. You have an hour and a half for the run. You're not getting a disruption to your tenants. Up in Key, New Hampshire, I had one complaint. A woman had a cup of tea while we were doing it, and it was salty. And that was the only complaint we had, because that debris is being cut into the ice and it's not being pushed up the lines or pushed into some other area. Next. I can't believe he was able to put this together. And again, that just shows you that it doesn't have to be a hydrant. It can be in a valve. It can be a pit. There's any number of ways we can get into the system. And the other thing that I like about it is that your hydrants and your valves all have to be operable for us to do this. And our technicians are going to come out with Bernie, and they're going to actually walk the streets, look where your hydrants are, look where your valves are, when we target the area. In some cases, communities have had to put in another hydrant or a valve in order to get to the area that they want. But the exercise, and I don't know if you exercise your valves and hydrants, but this is a good way of making sure it's done, because this is not going to be effective if the valve is closed that we think is open, or vice versa. Next. Just a couple other things I want to show you. And again, that's just flushing out of the hydrant. Actually there's a video with that.
Whoa.
Oh.
Pushes that right out, huh?
Now, the downside of that, I'll be standing there and the neighbor comes out and it says, that's coming out of my water system, and yep, your community fathers are fixing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, keep going, push on next, that's enough of that.
It's a lot.
More than I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Say it's
I
drinkable.
just want to show you the bottles, the bottle tests. There it is there. And we do this on every one of them. And then the other thing is we take all of these bottles and we send them to a laboratory. And then you're gonna get a report that shows how many pounds per gallon of whatever it was that we took out of the whole system. It really gives you a nice read, and a nice way to show the results of it. Next. I don't know if there's anything else on here you have to see. And we did this one because this line was scoured the week before. And you can see the results that we're still getting even after an air scouring. There's still a lot of stuff coming out. And these are the case studies. So, you know, and again, there's good references, Dedham, Westwood. The group from Walpole went up to Webster and saw it in action, and that's when they made their decision. Shrewsbury was unbelievable. A lot of raw water lines we're doing. Wellesley and Dedham, they were all raw water going from the pumps to the plant. Karen did this video with this guy. That's why she made me bring it. My wife works in the company as well.
Thank you, Bob.
I think that's about it. I'm going to leave you a little bit of literature, and we could work together if you wanted to have the PowerPoint to show on local cable. If you do that kind of thing,
Yeah, that'd be helpful. It is,
yeah.
Hopefully, people watching at home now can see some of
You can see some of it.
what's going on. But,
Yeah, and like I say, it's brand new, 4 years in this country, and the good part about it, or maybe the bad part about it, is that there's been so much activity here in the north that there's $1 million unit coming into Matthews in Bridgewater that's going to be available for all of the activity that we have in the north section, which that's.
So Bernie, we're going to be looking into. It only took us, a year, Richard, to get together? And government doesn't work very fast. We talked about this a year ago.
Yeah.
So we're finally making it happen, but.
Did you meet him at the MMA Club?
Yeah.
Yeah?
But thank you, I appreciate the opportunity, and apologize for the lateness and.
I was pretty excited when I saw it, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
And like I said,
It works.
my
Thank you very
mentor
much.
Of many years over Walpole is already, signed up for it, so,
How's it?
what better of a chance to go over to see it, and absolutely, I don't have it in my budget at the time. However, I'm sure we can.
cut it off?
I'm pretty excited about it, actually.
I mean, people in this town have been very vocal, and it's very, very clear to us that they want us to do something.
Absolutely.
And I think if this is a way to deal with it, then we have to try it. I mean, we don't have to do the whole town, we just have to give it a try and see if it works.
Dick sold me when he walked through the door.
And the thing.
Like I said, all I have to do is, I'd like to see it, and then I'm gonna have to find out how to pay for it.
So early, as soon as the weather breaks, we're going to start in Walpole, and I'd invite you all to come over.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause and again, we'll put the ice in at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10:30 we're done. I don't care how long the run is or what the size is, so it's not a real time-consuming thing. But when you stand on the end of that line and see what's coming out, that's what sells it.
And to your concern about funding, I don't think that would be a problem. I think people
I don't think so.
in this town would be more than willing to fund it to see if it works, so.
And especially when you're doing a comprehensive program with Weston and Sampson, and you're ready to move, you're doing your flushing, you're doing your unidirectional, you couple this in it, and you're going to really see some results.
I already have, Mr. Chairman, I already have roughly 28,000 feet of pipe that I'd like to investigate.
Okay.
And that's just known online cast iron. It could be more. Records, unfortunately, are not the greatest in my department. I inherited what I inherited.
So we have a questionnaire that we'll give to Bernie that he will fill out that has diameters, pipe size, materials that it made out of in a map, and he'll say, you know, take these 6 areas and give me proposals. So he'll have like 6 different things, and then you can make a decision as to which ones you think are going to be most important and get the greatest effect out of it. And and the communities that have done the because of the fact that we're not building anything, we're not replacing anything, this is service. So you can do this under 30B and do it for multiple years, but again, it's still all subject to appropriation. So in a given year, if you don't have any money, it doesn't mean you have to do it. And the nice thing about the company is they're holding the price. So, when you think about, you could be doing a line 8 years from now, and it's still going to be the same price, so it's...
Mr. Steele, you have a question?
I just had a question, although Bernie, you started to answer it. You said 28,000
Roughly
feet, you've already...
No, unlike cast iron, this is the older portion of the town.
What percentage of our pipes is that?
It's roughly 10 to 15%.
Okay, and,
It's not a lot.
and how long would a project like that take? Would that be several years for that size project?
How many feet? 28,000?
Roughly 28, that I know that's unlined cast cement, excuse me.
Yeah.
Unlined cast iron, that I know of,
You do them a mile a year. 28,000, 5,000, that's what, over a 5-year period?
5 years.
Yeah. Roger Hill in Foxborough has got 19 miles of asbestos pipe. And the asbestos is starting to break down. And so he did a mile last year. He's going to do 2 miles this year. He's doing lining. He's putting a liner inside that asbestos that keeps the flaking and the quality. And
When you say the liner, is it something you push through the pipe, or is it something that...
it's an
Inside the pipe?
epoxy that's sprayed on.
So it's sprayed on?
Yeah, it's 100% solids, no VOCs, cures in a half hour. So you could do a pipe and put it back in line. If you didn't have to do all the DEP requirements, you could put it back in line. You could put it back in line in the afternoon. The way it is now,
The concept is absolutely phenomenal. It's the hoops that you have to jump through in order to get the concept.
the amazing thing about this stuff is that it's manufactured in Middleborough. This is Warren Technologies, guy that's lived in Middleborough all his life, has patented this technology that's being used around the world. Crazy. Any other questions? And I'll work with your technical expert and put something that you can make sense, and that'd be great to show it on local paper.
Appreciate you coming out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank
Sorry
you.
to be late.
No worries whatsoever.
Again, it's something, we recognize that there's a problem, and already recognize that we're trying to come up with some creative ways to get some of these problems taken care of.
We owe this to the townspeople.
Absolutely.
We owe this.
Yep.
So, okay. Couple more things. You got a letter from from James Playwell to the town manager, letting him know that, believe it or not, we have exceeded our appropriation for snow and ice removal. So, we'll make you aware of that. We have a resignation from Edward Beatty, who's on the planning board, that he is going to be moving. And we're going to be having to have a joint meeting with the planning board to make an appointment between now and the next election. So, yeah, it looks like we may have to do it. I don't know if we can get to the next ballot, the next election or not, but if we can, we'll probably try to push it out, but if not,
All papers now to run.
yeah, and it wouldn't be paper, we just make the appointment. And then they can, so if anyone out there is thinking about running for planning board, we could make an appointment, and then they can run for the planning board, and, at least they'd already have some experience on it, so. Couple of things that we want to recognize, last week's snowstorm, as we all know, we had more than our share of it. We want to recognize 3 different people that went above and beyond, at least a couple of people. Emily Archer, she's a dispatcher down the hill here. Emily was working when she was contacted by a senior in town who was desperate to be plowed out. When Emily ended her shift, she went to the woman's house and shoveled her out.
Huh.
The woman called to let us know about this act of kindness. Now, that's another example of the type of people we have working for us. That's a great example of it. Estelle Flatt, our veterans agent, we all know she goes above and beyond anyway. Last Wednesday, Estelle went to one of her clients after work. The 88-year-old woman had a broken pipe, leaking water. Estelle contacted a contractor who came over and repaired the leak. And Estelle stayed with the woman for 2 hours while the repairs were being completed. She also went to the Water and Sewer Commission meeting on the woman's behalf Tuesday night to seek relief from a $900 water and sewer bill that resulted from the break. So it was leaking under her manufactured home, and she wasn't aware of it. So Estelle again went above and beyond to help the lady out. The one comment the lady said was she didn't know what to do. Her plumber had recently passed away,
Oh,
Butch. So Estelle found someone else that came out and helped her with the problem. I have no idea how long it was leaking, how long it was giving her a problem, but again, another great job. And on our highway department, we received a call from a man whose wife is a nurse, and as we all know, hospitals never close. You're mandated. You have to go to work. My wife's a nurse. I understand that they have to go. She couldn't get out of a street to go to work because it was all plowed in. She contacted the highway department because the street had not been plowed yet, and she could not get out. They went over within an hour and cleared the way so she could get to the hospital. So the highway department, again, another great job. So, you know, we don't spend enough time praising some of the people we have working for us, but there's three great examples of three great people, people and departments that did a great job for us. Okay, I think I got everything else, right? I think that's exciting, that process. I'm just curious to see how it works. I'd love to see it in action,
yeah.
Absolutely.
you know, when the time comes. We have no executive session. Is there anything else to come before the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to welcome Kaylee Sims
Okay,
for welcome aboard and look forward to
Yes.
working with you.
thank you. Welcome aboard.
Had enough yet?
She stayed awake for the whole meeting, too. I'm really impressed.
Better than me.
Okay. Anything else to come before the board? So then entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion a second. All those in favor?
All right.
We're adjourned. Thank you, Shane, for your help.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
No problem. I always do 2.